So, I was on Instagram and I saw a video of Bad Dominicana wearing this tank top with a big crazy hood that I will show you a picture of later when we get to that part. And I showed it to my kid and she's like, yes, please. And I was thinking about it and she's got some holes in her wardrobe. So I'm going to gather my courage and we're going to hand sew stretch fabric into some pants and some hoodie tank tops. And it'll be fun. This is some fabric I got at the Creative Reuse that, as a general rule, the thicker ones are becoming pants. 2 pants, 3 tank tops, and the thinner ones are tank topping it like this. Tell me that is not just the perfect fabric. So, things to do. This we got at the Goodwill bins. The front is the same as the back, except for the neckline, so we are using it as a pattern. For this, and then this was a skirt for a hot minute, but it's getting repurposed now, so that one's a little more complicated. Wait, just realized I lied. The neckline is different and the back is different. Apparently the tank top has a tail. And from each according to their ability. This one's almost full length. That one is. There's plenty of that fabric. This one, it's cropped. But that's okay. It'll be fun, and there was no way to get more out of it. And there's fabric left over for each hood, which will be fun. And currently the front neckline isn't cut, but everything else is. Time to get sewing? No, time to go help with math, but then sewing. Hey, let's sit on the floor together with my experimental new setup. So I've had a monstrously stressful couple weeks. I very much hope you are doing better than I have been, but better now, manageable now, and I get to work on tank tops right as we get a cold front, because that makes sense. Anyway, hey, there we go. So if you're sewing stretchy fabric, you need the seams to stretch too, or else the seams will yank holes in your fabric every single time you stretch them, right? And since we don't want that, and since I don't have a machine to do zigzaggies for me, which is fine because I find sewing machines stressful, I'm hand sewing stretchy seam. In this case, by doing zigzags. Yes? And that there's another approach that I'll show you in a minute. This, as you can see, is not fast. But it is functional, and functional is what matters most, right? Give me just a second. Sorry. Thought I timed this better. Making you wait just to show you that. Well, that's what the other side looks like, so that's what the outside for this seam is about to look like, because I am incapable of leaving seams to flap around loose in the breeze inside of a article of clothing. So I'm tacking it down. Probably add some security, but mostly I'm doing this because sensory issues, which I don't even know if my kid has, because I've sewed all of her seams down, haven't I? Anyway, feels better, is probably more secure, is functional. So currently we have 1, 2, 3 very simple boxy tank tops and a theory. If I can find the screenshot of my inspiration, I'll insert it now. Alright, theory being that you cut the front of the neck lower. Back too if you want to, but just a little bit. But front of the neck much lower, enough to get your head in. And then if you have a rectangle of fabric, and then, there we go. Then sew that together for the hood part, right? And then all this can be for the neck part. I don't know if that's proportionate or not. We'll find out in a minute. And then you'll have a giant tube around your noggin, right? And I think that's what the picture that I hopefully found showed. So my silly self just realized this fabric is different on the back, and that might look goofy. Anyway, I sewed the hood block to the back of the neckline, and my super accurate and scientific way of guesstimating the neckline is to follow it with scissors and then sew it on. I'm sure you have more accurate plans, but this works too. So somebody requested pockets. We're doing kangaroo pockets, which just whatever size I could get out of the remaining fabric, and sewed on there. At least this kind of pocket's supposed to be a patch pocket, right? And then this situation, oof, yeah, it's a good thing my kid's so tiny, or else this would not work for pants. It's going to be close fit as it is. That's a pair of pants that exists that's too short for her, but otherwise fits. So I guess we're just going to play copies for this particular thing. And here we have 2 rectangles turned into 2 tubes. Because if I can make it simple, I am going to. And also because this is barely enough fabric, so we're maximizing things, right? Grabbed a nearby pair of stretchy pants to cut out a crotch shape because pants are fundamentally weird. This is getting folded over the elastic waistband. Oh, also, I put the seam on the outside of the legs because if the seam's on the inside of the legs, then it wears out faster. And also because this way, there, whatever, there's a shape. Look, there's the pocket. Alright, for real, I am appalled by these pants. I think they are too high-waisted and too short. I want to gather the bottom. They're tighter than I do on me, but you know what? The beauty of it is, these are not for me. These are for my child, and she wants them high-waisted and short. And exactly the tightness they are, and she doesn't want the bottom gathered, and so this is great. And well, in the reveal you'll see how stretchy rectangles with the crotch cut out pants fit, and you can decide to do whatever you like with that information. Now, I do rectangles with crotch cut out pants for myself, but mine are non-stretchy and much baggier, so it's a perfectly valid approach, whatever the size of you. Yeah, just pockets now. Pockets are not negotiable. So if you've got a spot where you're not so worried about stretchiness, or you're feeling lazy, then you can just do your running back stitch and like yank on it. And then each stitch is just a little bit loose. Not enough to cause any trouble, but enough that you don't have the same vulnerabilities as you do with just stitching like you normally would. This pair's made out of one of my old dresses, actually. Hadn't worn it for a while, and I was like, you know what? That's usable fabric that is stretchy. Yay! And just like that, right back to the squiggle stitch for the waistband. Not that there is a waistband. These pants are not super duper incredibly baggy, so we're just folding over the pants and sticking elastic in there, which works. It doesn't look fancy, but it works. Alright, it would be cruel and unusual to make my child try on all possible iterations. What the hell? And so you get 3 reveals. Turn around, love. Show off pretty outfit. With pockets. Multiple pockets. Yep, there we go. Comfy?
Yeah.
Right, hood's bigger on this one. Pants are, once again, as long as fabric allows. I'll give you dimensions on the hood in a minute. So, happy squishkins? Twirl. Twirl!
Oh, I thought you said squirrel.
No, no squirrels. Just just had to explain Urkel to this child as she pulled her pants all the way up to her shoulders. But we fixed that, and she looks adorable. Please twirl, darling. Pants that are actually long enough. She says they're too long. I disagree because I'm old. Look at her laughing at me. Silly child. You look adorable, sweetheart.
Thanks.
All good?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was super convincing. So, the hood. I like the purple and black stripy one best. The brown and white's a little bigger, the skull's a little smaller, right? So, just measured it, and it's a piece of fabric 23 inches so 46 inches around and 8 inches deep. So, that was a really simple set of shapes we worked with. And that was very different little outfits that she just put on. So that's really cool. So go forth. Create if you wish. If you don't, that is perfectly fine too. But I hope it's helpful somehow, or inspirational. Not like inspiring, but like, oh, I can take that idea. Yeah. Have a wonderful springtime if you're in my part of the world. Mwah.